Right now, picture this. Imagine yourself at the very center of all there is. You sit in an office, perched atop the tallest spire in creation, a tower that pierces the veil of dimensions. Through crystalline windows that bend light and time, you can see it all. You can watch new galaxies spark into life like cosmic campfires, and old, tired suns collapse into diamond-cored embers. You oversee the graceful, silent waltz of a trillion celestial bodies. From this vantage point, you are the monarch of the cosmos, the deity of reality, a god of time and space itself. And yet, for billions of years, the only thing you have truly paid attention to is the endless stack of documents on your desk. This probably isn't the future you envisioned, is it? Let's rewind. Let's go back to a time before the universe knew your name as its supreme governor. You were Nobis, a descendant of one of the first children of the cosmos. Your species was a legend, a whispered myth among younger, fledgling races. They were one of the precious few to navigate the lethal obstacle course of existence, the great filters, and emerge not just alive, but triumphant. Your ancestors were pioneers. They didn't just reach for their star, they captured its energy, building technologies that turned suns into celestial power plants. They didn't just explore their solar system, they seeded entire galaxies. Their most profound achievement, however, was cheating death, extending their individual lifespans into the hundreds of thousands of years. You were born into the golden age of this grand civilization, a time of explosive compounding progress that was rewriting the rules of what was possible. But you weren't born just anywhere in this dynasty. Your father hailed from a long, unbroken lineage of high-ranking fleet commanders, a hero whose name was etched onto monuments across 1,000 worlds. By the time you were conceived, he had become the formidable leader of a newly blossoming galactic empire. And so, from your very first breath, a prophecy was draped around your shoulders like a heavy cloak. You were to be a ruler of a new form, the next great leap forward. But this prophecy was a cage, and the bars were forged from your father's expectations. You lived in a shadow cast by an imperial sun. Nothing you ever did was quite good enough. Every achievement was merely a stepping stone on an endless staircase of expectations. Ordained by your cosmic circumstances, squeezed by the insistent pressure of your family name, you didn't just grow up. You sharpened yourself into a weapon of pure ambition. You resolved to become the most advanced member of your already hyper-advanced species. Inheriting your father's throne was never the endpoint, it was the starting line. Once in that seat of immense power, a deep, gnawing yearning took hold. You dedicated every fiber of your being to growth and progress, driven by a furious, desperate need to prove that you were worthy of the role, worthy of the name, worthy of existence itself. And deep down, in the quietest chambers of your heart, you just wanted to be worthy of your father's love. Your goal metastasized. It was no longer enough to be the leader of your father's nation, or even the revered leader of your entire species. No, you looked out at the infinite tapestry of the cosmos and declared that you would not be satisfied until you were its undisputed master. You would become the leader of the entire universe. A relentless, obsessive crusade that would span epochs. You left no celestial stone unturned. You amassed every conceivable resource, from the rarest exotic matter in dying stars to the psychic energies of non-corporeal beings. You terraformed worlds for the sheer data they would provide. You uncovered every possible insight, peeling back the layers of reality until you could read its source code. Your journey was a grand conquest of knowledge and influence. First, you charted your entire home galaxy, then the entire galaxy cluster. Finally, with cold determination, you mapped and visited every significant region of the entire known universe. There was not a single important, sentient being across the cosmos whom you did not meet. You overcame those who challenged your ascent with brilliant strategy and overwhelming power, seeing their defiance as just another problem to be solved. You formed unbreakable alliances with those who saw the wisdom in bending the knee, their loyalty becoming another asset in your vast portfolio. You climbed the hierarchy of your species until you were its living apex. Then, you climbed the greater hierarchy of all species, becoming the ultimate authority in a universe teeming with ancient and powerful life. You learned everything there was to know. Every fundamental law of physics, every subtle rule of reality, every forgotten piece of cosmic history. You absorbed it all. You understood how the universe was assembled, how all its intricate gears and levers worked in harmony, and when there was nothing left to learn, you transcended. You merged your mind with others, forming a singular consciousness that encompassed all thoughts, all perspectives, and all timelines. Your perception shattered the confines of linear time, allowing you to see past, present, and future as a single, unified landscape. You harnessed the boundless energy of stars, and when that wasn't enough, you drew power from the spinning hearts of entire galaxies. Eventually, you integrated your very consciousness with the fabric of the universe itself, becoming a grand weaver of reality, a seamster mending the tears in space-time and designing its future patterns. Finally, after an eternity of striving, you emerged, victorious and utterly alone at the top. You were Nobis, monarch of the cosmos, deity of celestial bodies, god of time and space. However, a chilling truth soon dawned on you. Ensuring that this colossal, chaotic engine called the cosmos continued to run smoothly proved to be an unbelievable amount of work. It was an endless, grinding litany of cosmic administration, making sure that quadrillions of celestial bodies maintained their proper, gravitationally stable orbits became a matter of obsessive calculation. Ensuring that vital resources were distributed and allocated equitably among trillions of competing civilizations was a logistical nightmare that spanned star systems. You had to make sure that civilizations, both ancient and newly born, were operating appropriately, staying out of each other's territory, keeping their ambitions in check, satisfied, but not so satisfied that they became stagnant or rebellious. The list went on and on and on. The grand irony was that after becoming a god, you spent most of your time behind a desk, inside an office, atop that magnificent cosmic tower. Your days were a blur of reviewing documents, running cosmic scale calculations, dealing with interstellar disputes, and making decisions that could affect the lives of trillions. Of course, you could have had help, and you did. Over the millennia, you had enlisted the most advanced species and brilliant beings you'd allied with, but you took your job with a terrifying seriousness. You were possessed by the unshakable belief that you were the only being in the entire universe capable of making sure that things were done for a T. So you checked over everyone's documents. You personally reran all their vital calculations, and you absolutely required your personal approval for every single significant decision. Consequently, the legion of geniuses who worked for you were only ever of so much help. They became glorified interns for a micromanager god. Most of the beings who worked for you, or simply knew of your existence, envied you with a burning passion. Of course, no one ever seriously considered that they could actually take your job. The sheer scale of it was incomprehensible. But they desired it. They desired the rentier of it. They wanted your unparalleled success, your ultimate position at the pinnacle of the cosmos. They envied your immense power and your limitless influence. Most of all, they envied what they perceived as your absolute freedom and autonomy. The truth, however, was a cruel joke. You didn't derive much pleasure from your role at all. You were always busy, always drowning in responsibility. Governing everything involved an endless tide of tedium and suffocating bureaucracy. You could have relinquished your title, of course. You could have delegated your responsibilities and finally stepped away. But you were far, far too prideful. You could not even begin to imagine making it this far, sacrificing everything across billions of years, just to turn around and walk the other way. What would the rest of the universe think of you? And besides, nobody wants to hear the complaints of a god. Moreover, a deep-seated fear paralyzed you. What would happen if you let go? You were convinced no one else could do what you did. No one else, shutuanche. You felt it was the destiny you had spent your entire existence to fulfill. This was what you were good at, what you understood. It was what you were supposed to do. A prison of your own making, and so you did the work, every day. Because it was yours to do. Billions upon billions of years passed, managing your universal empire, and you still hadn't taken much, if any, time off. You hadn't truly explored the glories of the cosmos you commanded in a very, very long time. You hadn't allowed yourself to simply enjoy any part of it. Occasionally, every few thousand years or so, you would force yourself to take a day or a week off, but you would almost always find yourself consumed by guilt and a crippling anxiety. Things were falling apart without you. Mistakes were being made. You were losing control, so you typically just ended up working anyway, tapping into the universal network from whatever utopian oasis or remote corner of the universe you had chosen for your failed vacation. You feared that if you took too much time off, you would lose traction, that the delicate balance of everything would crumble in the hands of others. And so, here you are, after beating the infinitesimal odds of even existing, surviving billions of years of cosmic chaos, climbing over gods and empires, and acquiring powers beyond mortal comprehension. You spend your time working, incessantly, day in and day out. You toil away at a tedious, ceaseless, ever-piling mountain of work and bureaucracy, never really looking up from your screen to see the very universe you govern. You've made a promise to yourself, though, a little deferred dream. You figure that at the end of time, when entropy has finally won, when there is no more work to be done and no more things left to manage, then, and only then, you might finally find a moment. Just before the last lights in the universe blink out forever, you will finally allow yourself to take a quick trip, to enjoy the remaining stars and galactic destinations, the kingdom you traded your life for, viewed for the first and last time. Just as it ends.